Major issue around here now is how is the MTA doing? Subways shut down. Some of the buses are running and they are free. Let's go to the phone. Kevin Ortiz is on the line for us. Mr. Ortiz, let's start with the worst of it. What can you tell us?
Well, in essence, in a period of a few hours, last night, as you all know, we had 7 East River subway tubes, 2 Long Island Railroad tubes, 2 vehicular tunnels, the Brooklyn Battery, Eukarya, and the Queens Midtown Tunnel that were all severely flooded as a result of Sandy, in addition to a number of our subway yards and bus depots that also suffered some damage.
So the word on the subways is we have no idea when they're going to be back running. Is that correct?
It is too early to see how long it's going to take to restore the system to full service. Again, water remains at these East River tubes. We're in the process, as you can see on your screen there, of pumping water out of the system, but it is a lengthy process in terms of getting all this water out of these tubes. After we do that, we need to go in, do full inspections of tracks and other infrastructure, making necessary repairs, so it's going to be a while, guys.
At last check, I know that you were planning on having limited bus service available by 5 p.m., operating somewhat like on a Sunday schedule. Is that still on track?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we are already rolling buses out of depots, actually starting at 3 o'clock to ramp up service in order to have partial service restored by 5 o'clock. With the hopes of having a full schedule for tomorrow.
Now, I know that earlier when your chairman was speaking during one of the briefings held with state officials, he was saying in the history of the MTA never has this type of damage ever happened.
That's correct. The last time we saw flooding at a much smaller level was during the nor'easter in 1992, where we had, in terms of an extended period, we had the Canarsie tube, the L line tube, closed down for about 3 days. But nothing like this, guys, nothing like this.
Boy, so going forward, the next few days, for practical purposes, for people who need to get from A to B around town, what do you tell them, and what's your best advice?
Well, first and foremost, definitely utilize our bus service. Again, we hope to have full bus service restored by tomorrow. At the same time, for folks who have cars, we have reopened 5 of our 7 bridges, that being the RFK, Verrazano, Whitestone, Neck, and Henry Hudson bridges. So, by all means, utilize those other means of transportation.
And the bus service tomorrow will be free as well, even though it is full service?
That's correct. The plan as of now is to provide free service for the time being.
And do you think you might have to overcompensate and double up on buses, or maybe even more, considering that there are no trains? I mean, there's no other way to get around for a whole lot of people.
Well, unfortunately, we only have a certain amount of buses. We have 5,600 buses in our fleet, and again, part of the process in terms of getting them on the road is inspecting them, making sure that there was no damage to any buses. It's been laid out for a while. We're going to try and get them out there as quickly as possible.
And quite frankly, a lot of the people who drive the buses and who work on the buses take the train to get to the bus and take the bus to get to the bus. And it goes like that. So it's a chicken egg
cycle.
It's a really difficult thing. It's going to be difficult to get it up and running. I'm sure you've considered that, right?
Well, our employees have been remarkable. Just incredible the past couple of days in terms of, really stepping up efforts, not only in terms of getting the system up and running, but, doing everything that they can to get the work. And, we're really seeing that in terms of, every single employee really stepping up just to do everything they can to get service up as quickly as possible.
Did we even cover LIRR and Metro North? What's the plan there going forward?
The railroads are still assessing damage. As I mentioned before, you had 2 East River tubes that were flooded, so they're in the process of clearing that out. But they've also sustained damage at rail yards and other locales. Metro North, what they did is they basically dispatched diesel-powered patrol trains along all 3 lines to assess damage and remove fallen trees along the way. As you heard, they encountered actually a 40-foot boat blocking parts of the tracks up in Ossing that still needs to be removed.
So the answer is we don't really know when the LIRR or Metro North are going to be back running.
That's correct. They're working hard to restore service as quickly as possible. Hopefully we'll know more, a little bit more later on today.
And Kevin, I thought Governor Cuomo brought up a very good point earlier today when he said, once we get the system restored and life finally gets back to normal, that we really need to look at how this system is run and really think things through and make some significant changes.
Well, he's right. Just as a reminder, on Saturday, the New York City subway system celebrated its 108th birthday. So, in essence, we're dealing with a much older system. We worked very hard, through our capital program to maintain and keep the system in a good state of repair. But, there's always there's a time and a place where we need to move forward and think of new ways to improve how we can provide service.
Okay, which two of your 7 bridges are not open?
Those would be the 2 bridges out in Queens, the Cross Bay Bridge and the Marine Park Lake Hill Hodges Memorial Bridge. Those are still closed as a result of flooding. And then, as I mentioned before, we've got 2 tunnels, the Queens Midtown and the U-Carrier, that are still closed as well.
Okay.
All right, Kevin, well, I know your crews did a lot to minimize the damage, and obviously we're thankful for that, and we just wish all of your employees the best, because obviously all of New York is relying on this system to get back up and running again. But we will ask our viewers to practice patience. Kevin Ortiz with the MTA, thank you for your time.
Never seen